Maybe you know a lot about wine tasting and the pleasure of rolling a good wine on your tongue, but how much do you know about wine bottles? Why is there a cavity in the bottom of some wine bottles? There is no consensus on one overall explanation, but the following points are all valid. The punt is a historical relic from the days before mechanization when bottles were still made by glassblowers. The technique left a point or bump on the bottom of the bottle where the pontil was attached. This protruding piece of glass caused the bottle to be unsteady and easily tip over. It could also scratch the surface it stood on, which is why the decision was made to push that part of the bottom inward. In the times when wine still contained sediment, this sediment would collect at the base of the bottle, and the punt helped to pour the clean wine easily. The punt also reinforces the bottle so that it can handle the pressure of, for example, sparkling wine. The punt is also called a thumb hole because the thumb fits nicely into the recess, ensuring a better grip on the bottle. The cavity takes up space, which means the bottle must be slightly larger to hold the required 750 milliliters of wine. For guys like me, the bottle looks bigger, and a bigger bottle means more wine, so I prefer to buy the larger bottle. By placing the bottle with its neck in the cavity of another, you can fit more bottles in the same space. The bottles will also be less likely to roll around in the cargo hold of a ship or the trunk of a vehicle and possibly break. For a long time, more expensive and better wines were sold in bottles which have a punt, while cheaper wines were offered in flat-bottomed bottles. Manufacturers of cheaper wines then reasoned that consumers apparently are willing to pay more for wine in indented bottles, and therefore began to market their wines in such bottles as well. Today, the cavity in the bottle does not necessarily mean that the content is better than the wine in a flat-bottomed bottle. Why are 750 milliliters bottles the standard? Why not half-liter or 1-liter bottles, for example? It is true that most wine is offered in 750 milliliters bottles, but there are also other sizes. Think of the small bottles of wine that you can enjoy with your meal on an airplane. You have certainly also encountered magnum-sized bottles containing 1.5 liters. Then there is the Jeroboam, which contains 3 liters, as well as other sizes up to the 30-liter Midas. Many of these bottles are named after kings and other important figures in the Bible. The standard 750 milliliters bottle size took hold especially under the influence of French wine producers during the late Middle Ages. Remember that many monasteries also had wine cellars. The monks sold the wine to make a living. However, they also used wine themselves, with meals, as well as in rituals such as communion, and found it necessary for wine to be available in standard-sized containers. The standard allowed you to calculate in advance how many bottles of wine would be needed, without there being too little or too much. The 750 milliliters bottles are easier to handle when it comes to pouring or storing. It is also the optimum size for aging wine in a bottle. Some believe that the size had its origin in Roman times because 750 milliliters was exactly 1/5 of a gallon. The gallon was the Roman standard for transporting wine. Another theory is that the size had to do with the lung capacity of glassblowers. It is estimated that a glassblower could exhale between 600 and 800 milliliters of air with one breath, and that 750 milliliters was just the right volume. As with the punt, there is no consensus on the exact reason why 750 milliliters became the standard. The same goes for the different shapes in which wine bottles appear. Any color wine can be offered in any shape bottle, as well as in bottles with flat bottoms or punts. The color of the bottle is also not necessarily prescriptive for the wine it contains. Darker bottles are only used when the wine needs to age in the bottle for a period. Different shapes of bottles also have different names, just as the glasses in which the contents are poured have different names. I think, however, that we should leave all that for a later occasion.